Let's go now to Sumit Ganguly, who is Professor of Political Science at Indiana University, who is against this law. I believe you heard from our guest Zakia Soman there earlier. What is your response then to what she had to say?
I'm not against the law per se. I just have some serious qualms about this particular government introducing this law. I think the law is actually quite a positive step in terms of removing this kind of horrible onus on Muslim women in India. Other Muslim countries have done away with this particular law or this particular injunction. And I think it's entirely appropriate that India also embrace this law. My qualm primarily stems from the fact it's this particular government that has introduced this law, given that this government has a terrible record of treating minorities, and particularly India's largest minority, 170 million people, Muslims. And consequently, I am skeptical about their motivations.
Whatever their motivations, is this law, at the end of the day, not going to help protect the rights of Muslim women in India who don't have any legal protection when it comes to this issue?
That's absolutely right. Their motivations aside, the outcomes that could stem from this law would be, I think, mostly positive. And this is where I disagree with the sociologist whom you interviewed. I think he is right about the motivations of the government, but I think he's wrong about the consequences of the likely consequences of the law. I think the law is actually quite a progressive step in the right direction. My concern largely stems from the fact that I think this government is doing it primarily to reap electoral advantage.
So expand on that point. You're talking about the Modi government. What is your issue then with how the minorities are being dealt with in India?
There, I think, have been repeated attacks on minorities, and the Prime Minister has maintained a deafening silence when these attacks have taken place. For example, a number of individuals who were transporting cows, often quite legally, were beaten up or killed by vigilante groups across the country, and the Prime Minister has not said a word about it. A Muslim man last year was actually killed because certain individuals in his village argued that he had been keeping beef in his refrigerator when there was no evidence to that end. And most of the people who were involved in this act of vigilantism are still running around scot-free, even though cases have been lodged against them. So I am quite concerned about this, the plight of Muslims in India at the moment under the present government.
If you are concerned and others are concerned about the plight of Muslims, are there not other ways to fight it than fighting this law?
No. Obviously, there are other ways to fight it, and I have spoken out vigorously about this matter. I have written about this matter in various publications, and I will continue to voice my concerns about the treatment of minorities. But I wish this law had been introduced in a fashion where more consultation had been involved with key members of the Muslim community, and thereby a greater consensus might have been forged before introducing the bill in Parliament.
Sumit, I appreciate you joining us here on the program and your insights. Sumit Ganguly, Professor of Political Science at Indiana University, talking about that rather controversial divorce law in India.